Okay, this is the captain's cockpit preparation flow. First item is the lights. So captain's doing these lights here, the overhead panel and center aisle, and then their own reading lights. You just have that however you want it. Again, you're going to come down, do your radios. Just set your VHF 1, 2, and 3 on, and then we're going to set up the FMC here. All right, so now we're going to set up the FMC, and the first thing that we want to do is we want to check our data status page, and we're verifying it's CFM International LEAP 1S engines. Our nav database, the active dates on it might be a little out of date because maintenance has to have time to get in here. Sometimes it gets a little out, but that's okay. You just continue on with it. From there, you're going to go to the active and come down to the init page. We're going to start with the flight number here, and the flight number is found right up here, Superjet 101. So we're just going to type in 101, hit enter. We're going from JFK to from JFK to FOK to JFK. That's Gabreski is the name of the airport. So we'll type in JFK, enter. Oops, KJFK, KJFK, enter. Our two-way point, because we're eventually coming back to JFK, we're just going to type in KJFK for now. And our alternate is LaGuardia, KLG. There's no company route, so you don't have to worry about that. Our cruise flight level today is 7,000 based off of our clearance, so let's type in 070. Our cruise temperature, is just calculated based off of the ground temp, so you can just leave that as is. Cost index, this is an Airbus thing, and it goes from 0 to 999. Basically, it's how much fuel you want to burn on the route. 999 means you're the most efficient. 0 means you don't care how much fuel you're burning. We use a cost index of 30. And it'll tell you right here on here how much. Trip wind, we don't actually use this, so we're just going to put in HD 000. And our zero fuel weight today, unfortunately it's in kilograms. The rest of it's in pounds, so our kilograms zero fuel weight will be based off of whatever you have on board here, which is right here, so 45,100. And the dispatch release will have both in pounds and kilograms. And then our block fuel is going to be what you've got on board there. Okay, we're just going to use 16 tons. I haven't actually set the fuel over here, so we'll just go with 16 tons for today. After that, you're going to go ahead and execute and initialize. And then if you get an unable cruise altitude, it's just because we're in the local area. It doesn't like that. You can just clear that out. Next page we go to is route. So our route today, as you can see, ATC clears Superjet 101 to Gabreski via the Score 5 Yankee departure direct. Maintain 5,000, expect 7,000 10 minutes after, and then our squawk code. What we're going to do is we're going to go out to Gabreski and then back to JFK. So we're going to go ahead and change our JFK now, enter a new destination, and this one is going to be KFOK. And the reason we're doing this is because we know that we're going to go out there first and then come back to JFK. So we can delete JFK out of here for the time being, so we're just focused on one leg of the trip. So to enter a departure now from JFK, we can click on JFK, hit departure, and select our runway, which is 31 left, our SID, which was Score 5, and our transition, which was Yankee. Select that, and then if you hit return, now you're going to see it loaded up into here. Okay, so we're going Yankee direct to Gabreski. That's it for the route page. You can put in speeds, altitudes, things like that, but for right now, for your purpose, that's all we have to put in. We'll work on that stuff later on. From there, we're going to go to the fuel and load page. Again, we have our zero fuel weight and our block fuel. The zero fuel weight CG is down at the bottom here. It'll tell us it's 28%, so we'll go ahead and put in 28. And then hit fuel and load prediction. This is going to give us all of our fuel load predictions for the flight. How much to get to Gabreski, how much to get to our alternate, things like that. From there, we go to the perf page. And from this point here, we're just going to put in the V speeds that it calculates for us. So 145, and it's right next to it. 158, and 159. Our flaps are going to be 1, packs on, anti-ice off for this flight. The reduction altitude and acceleration altitude default to 1,500 feet, and we're just going to keep it at that. That's what we're going to use for all of our flights is 1,500, and that's AGL. On our climb page, we're just making sure it's set to 250 knots. In cruise, right now, we're just going to keep it at 250 knots. We eventually, when we start getting into actual en route stuff, we'll change to a pre-selected, but for the time being, we're just going to leave it at 250. From there, you can go right back to your route page, and that's it. That's how you set up the FMC. This is the time at which the FO now would go and check all the work that the captain did to make sure everything's correct. Okay, so back to the captain's cockpit preparation after the FMC is complete. FO would be doing the same thing at the same time, where we're going to start with the FCU. Again, we're working in, so we have maps at our range. The captain's going to hit terrain for this one. Flight director, come across barrel rough, set 3032, or whatever the altimeter setting is. And then we're going to set speed, altitude, and heading. These should be in managed. And managed means we have a dot there, so don't touch those. Altitude, you can set your first cleared. We were cleared 5,000, and you should have a dot there being managed. And then vertical speed should be just dashes. After that's complete, again, we're going to be doing our air data, heading, and FMC to make sure those are all on one. We set our brightness on our screens here. And actually, one more thing for the captain is the brightness on the standby can be set right here. So you can set that there and set your altimeter on here also. Then the last thing is just come down and we're going to do our oxygen mask test. And that's the cockpit preparation. Now the captain would call for the cockpit preparation checklist and the FO would read it to him.